BBC Radio Oxford, Ben E. King, and Stand By Me. Right, it's Friday afternoon, 25 to 4 right now. And that means one thing, of course. Movies are out this week, new ones. And that means it's time to bring on our movie critic, Van Connor, to talk about two of the movies that you might want to go and see this weekend. He'll be brutally honest about them, so there is a warning there. Stand by. Here he is. It's Van Connor. Welcome back to the show, Van. How are you?
How can I ever live up to these intros, honestly? And you have me on to give my opinion, but it doesn't matter because everybody's going to see Jurassic Park. Like, if they haven't seen Top Gun, they're going to see Jurassic Park. You know, it's one of those two at the box office, which is a shame because there are other things, and there are arguably better things, not so much than Top Gun, but maybe the other things, than Jurassic Park, than that. So okay. Let's talk about All My Friends Hate Me first, which is a BFI release that's out today, and this is a British, I want to describe it as a psychological thriller dressed up as a uni reunion dramedy. If you can imagine that. It's co-written by the guy who stars in the lead, Tom Stourton, I think his name is. And he's Pete, who, for his 30th birthday, gets together with all his uni mates, and they all have sort of different lives now. And they rent, and I think they have, one of them has like rich parents who has like a house in the middle of nowhere. It's either that or they rent it, I forget which. And they all, meet at this remote country house for the weekend. And over the course of this weekend, Pete starts to think that one by one, all of his friends are slowly turning on him. Like, secretly, they hate him. They're out to ruin him. They want to destroy him. They despise him. What could be causing all this? Is it in his head? Is it even real? But I've got a clip for you that this is on the way to that. This is him just stopping and meeting a friendly old man by the side of the road and asking him seemingly innocent directions. But as you'll quickly discover, nothing is quite as it seems here.
Okay.
Lost?
Yes.
Thought as much.
Yeah.
The old sat-nav let you down then, eh? Surprise, surprise. Long journey?
Yeah. Sort of late for my own party, actually, yeah. It's my birthday.
Yeah, you need to loop back round through the red gate, bear left till you hit the Lamb pub, then straight shot through Dorney and it's on your left. Big iron fronted thing.
Yes, I remember. Thank you very much.
Might come join you later.
Yeah, well, I'll let the others know. Cheers again, thanks.
Later.
A little bit odd, very strange.
It's really odd,
yeah.
Right, and it quite clearly, I think it wants to be a bit more in vein of something like the Shaun of the Dead kind of Edgar Wright-ish tone at times. You can hear with the musical beat, for instance, at the end of that. It doesn't quite get there. It's not quite as stylish as it needs to be. Or that it deserves, because it's really damn good. Otherwise, it's a really sharp, really wince-inducing script. It's one of those that keeps you on the edge of your seat because you're not sure whether or not something is particularly evil or if it's just cringy. And the fact that it could be either is part of the suspense. I thought it was great. It really worked for it. It was one of those, like, I have no idea where this is going. And when it does come time for its reveal, it doesn't wimp out. It doesn't take the obviously expected route with it. And even in subverting expectation, still manages to be quite bold with its choices. Like, I'm really impressed by this. It's called All My Friends Hate Me. It's out today. Absolutely check this out if you can.
I love films that have kind of twists at the end where it makes you rethink. Is that we going along those lines?
All the way through, all twists.
Oh, great. This sounds like one I'd enjoy then. I mean, you know my kind of movies. I think this is one that I might have to go and see. Now, on to the second release that is out this week. Well, it's out now, I believe, isn't it?
It is Jurassic World Dominion, one of the hangovers from the early COVID film delays. Because I think this was meant to be out 2 years ago now. It was meant to be summer of 2020, I believe. Yeah. And it's finally here. Colin Trevorrow finally gets to do that threequel, that trilogy capper. He was denied the chance to do, 3 years ago. And, well, let's just say it's Colin Trevorrow 1, J.J. Abrams nothing. So this one beats the Star Wars one. Not by much, but it does beat Star Wars.
They've got a lot of original cast in this, haven't they?
They've done the all-star castings. They've brought back the original cast from Jurassic Park, the original core trio of Jeff Goldblum, Sam Neill, and Laura Dern, alongside the newcomers. So you get two storylines in this one. In the first one, it involves the original duo of Sam Neill and Laura Dern coming together to investigate a genetically engineered threat to the world's crops. that brings them back into contact with Jeff Goldblum's Ian Malcolm character, because he's now an on-staff chaotician at a genetics company.
Of course,
because that's a thing that happens. And then you have the B plot, which is Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard, who play Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard, are off on this globe-trotting adventure in a world in which dinosaurs are now loose and conveniently maintained by the genetics company that's in the A plot, because that's how the last one of these ended. Don't forget, the dinosaurs got out into the world at the end of the last movie.
Yeah.
And in this plot, they're on the hunt for their kidnapped adopted daughter, who's also a clone of the granddaughter of one of the original park founders.
Wow.
And alongside her is a kidnapped baby velociraptor that's a big deal. But who cares? We all know why you're here if you're a fan of this series, and it ain't the dinos. Listen to our clip, for example, as to absolutely why we're going for this one.
How are your kids?
Amazing. Grown. It's shocking. They're both in college. Can you believe that?
And Mark?
It's over.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
It's okay. I'm back to me and my work. That's
great.
It's good. It is. I'm alone at last.
Exciting times.
Yeah, I'm living the Alan Grant life. It's just
Can be lonely.
so free.
Allie, you didn't come out all this way just to catch up now, did you?
Well, to be fair, they didn't allow you the best clip of all to play and use, did they?
But that's it, isn't it? You're here. Well, the thing is that there were other clips, but they're all action sequences with no dialogue. The thing is, there's so much nostalgia now attached to this brand. You can usually tell how old someone is by whether or not they refer to it as Jurassic Park still or Jurassic World.
Yeah.
Like that's a very key indicator of someone's age there. Like that should be on someone's Tinder bio. Like I still call it Jurassic Park kind of thing. But it's weird. It feels a bit meh. Like they put so much effort into getting the dinosaurs off the island for the second time in this franchise's history, it's worth noting, and they just come up with a narrative reason to just backpedal and just confine all the dinosaurs again for the purpose of the convenience of plot. You've then got the fact that none of it makes a lick of sense. I mean, it was a stretch 30 odd years ago to believe, okay, yeah, they harvested DNA from inside the amber, and yeah. And that's why we get to do this so straight faced and take this so seriously, because this is all played as quite believable. And they were really pushing it when they got to now we're mixing dino breeds together. Back in the one where she was out running T-Rexes in heels. Yeah. Remember that one? Back in 2015, conveniently the same year the Star Wars franchise relaunched as well, if we're keeping score. That was a stretch then. We've just now gotten to this absolute blancmange of a plot in which we've got raptors running down, the main street in Rome for 5 minutes in the first act, and then the rest of it we're all confined. You get a couple of little snippets of the dinos around the world. But other than that, we're now getting clone kids and self-birthing raptors, and
it sounds like it's forgotten the point almost in a funny kind of way. I mean, one thing I'm really interested to know is obviously when Jurassic Park originally came out, all the talk was the CGI and how amazing the dinosaurs looked. Now, has that improved? Is that even better than it was back then?
Right, it's a Jurassic Park movie. It's a $200+ million, special effects show. So of course the special effects are good. There's not one shot in this that I looked at and thought that looks rubbish. But to be fair, that seamless balance, that blend between the practical and the CGI that made Jurassic Park such a timeless, iconically, visually brilliant work. It's the same thing as all these movies. Movies are at their best when those filmmakers know how to play within the limits. And the problem is CGI takes away any limits. So you can do more or less anything. It's worth noting that one of the standout scenes of this, which is a sequence which is in the trailer, which is just Bryce Dallas Howard having to hide in a swamp from a dino who may or may not be behind her. Yeah. That was one of the standout scenes of the movie, but it still just can't hold a candle to here's two puppets in a kitchen from the first movie. It doesn't measure up because there's still that lack of corporeality, that lack of texture, of reality, of heft and gravity and weight. The absence of mass is still there, but within those limits, it's one of the top tier efforts you're ever going to see in it.
Well, if anyone wants to go and make their own mind up to see it, where can they see it? It's cinemas now, right?
Yeah, old school fossilized way. You go and you dig up an old school cinema multiplex and you see it that old way. It'll be on. I'm not on streaming for months, this one, so you are going to have to go out and see this one.
Amazing. Just like All My Friends Hate Me. Lovely. Thank you so much, Van Connor. We will speak again. Do you know which ones we're going to be discussing next week?
I can tell you that next week we're going back to the Toy Story universe. You and I, we're going to be seeing Buzz Lightyear return. But it's Lightyear this week, which I'm really looking forward to. I hear good things. Chris Evans as Buzz Lightyear in what looks like animated Flash Gordon.
Wow.
I'm down. Give me that, because it's not the toy Buzz Lightyear. I think it's the character that gets turned that they make the toys for.
Wow.
Like,
well, you're going to get to see it.
Yeah, this is going to be who Buzz Lightyear thinks he is. So I'm really looking forward to this.
All right. Well, you watch that next week, and we'll chat next Friday, and we'll see what you think of it. Thanks so much for coming on, Van. Have a lovely one.
Till the next time, good stuff.
Thank you very much. All right, Alfie Templeman now. This is Colour Me Blue on BBC Radio Oxford.